Tweet. Okay, it's tweeting.
It's
Cool.
tweeting? Okay.
Now it's tweeted.
Okay.
And I shall also retweet the tweet.
Okay. I retweet.
Tweeted. Woo.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Did
Here
the
we
stuff.
are.
Okay.
Oh my god, Oolong has been like groping me.
Oh no.
This last 5 minutes just trying to
Please.
get my attention. He wants it so badly.
I need to find the YouTube chat. Hello, people. Y'all are so early. Oh my goodness.
Yay, that's the way I like it.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. We're live.
Been,
Hello, welcome.
Like groping.
Hello,
Oops.
everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay.
It's Tuesday. It's stream day.
Woo. Okay.
Okay. I'm ready.
I'm gonna sneeze.
Okay, you should sneeze first. There you go. Bless you. Bless you. Hello.
I'm okay. Okay. Yes.
Hello, Kate Payne. Hello, Gabby. Hello, Nemesis.
Hello.
And Michael and Tangarius.
Hello.
So many people.
Hello. We here. Sorry if I'm like really sleepy looking. I had to wake up at 7, and then
Bitch, I wake up at 7 every day. I literally woke up at 7 every weekday for work.
Ew.
Yeah.
Ew.
Can't wait to quit.
Yay. So I woke up and then I had to go to the warehouse because people are renting my warehouse right now to do a cool production.
Okay.
So they're doing that. I just have to be there to like open the door. But then I stuck around and I painted Chainsaw Man for a little bit, and then I came back here. I streamed for the last 4 hours baking cream puffs, and now I'm here.
Nice.
Yay.
I had a busy but less creative day.
Oh. I'm excited for today.
Yeah, I know.
Because today's gonna be sad, isn't it?
Hold on. Where are we? Yep. Oh, yeah. We're getting to the scene. This is the scene. This is the moment.
We're getting into this episode.
Yeah, basically.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's gonna be like 3 chapters in. So. Oh, actually, some of these chapters are really long. So.
Okay.
Yeah, like during the depressing scenes, like she just wrote so much. It's crazy.
I'm excited.
But there is going to be some trigger warnings before episodes or before chapters that are really gruesome. So just throwing that out there. You will be warned before any like super fucked up stuff happens if you're sensitive to that.
Well, I mean, if they're a BL fan, they're totally fine with fucked up shit.
Yeah.
Because that's like essentially what BL is. Just a lot of fucked up stuff.
Fucking sad.
It's so fucked, you guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Tissues are here. Yeah.
Good. Get those tissues ready. You're gonna literally. So I was I was ahead because I was editing chapter 196, and there was this like one line in chapter 196 that like literally I was just sitting at my desk crying, like at work. Like I was at the office because I'm like doing the podcast writing while I'm at work. And like I was just like sitting there, I was like, "Oh my god, no one better fucking bother me right now because I'm just like dying." Like it was so sad. It just hit me in the heart. So I don't know when we're gonna get to chapter 196, but when we do, it's gonna hit me all over again.
Great! Oh my god! All right, cool. We can get started. We've been recording for the last 2 minutes.
Nice.
So, or actually 1 minute. Wow, time goes by.
That's
faster
really
than
not
I
that
thought.
long.
Okay, so let's do this. Welcome to BLHQ. I'm Stella Chu.
And I'm Jenny Belly.
This is our weekly podcast breaking down the danmei web novel, Heaven Official's Blessing, written by MXTX. We deep dive a few chapters at a time, discuss themes, cultural backgrounds, and our overall reactions. Spoilers abound and screaming will be had, so you have been warned.
And a recap of last week's episode. This recap is a little bit long. Xie Lian attempts to steal from a mortal, but he's caught by a group of junior officials. He runs back home ashamed, but when he later goes to a mountain to do some secluded cultivation training, he unluckily runs into that same group of junior officials. They try to bully him, but Xie Lian fights back until suddenly Mu Qing arrives and takes the junior official's side. Angry and ashamed, Xie Lian leaves the mountain and runs into the white-clothed Calamity. Instead of killing him, the white-clothed Calamity hugs and comforts Xie Lian. Xie Lian resists him, but loses their fight and returns home injured. Mu Qing is there and reveals to Feng Xin that Xie Lian robbed, causing Xie Lian to go crazy and chase Mu Qing out. He ends up hiding in his room until he calms down, but when he looks into a mirror, he is wearing White No-Face's mask. And that's like cliffhanger of where we left off last chapter.
Such a hard episode to listen to, I'm sure.
It was just kept piling on, like worse and worse things kept happening to him, and he like did not get a break. Like this guy has 0 breaks. It just kept piling on. It's so sad.
So sad. But it's gonna be even worse this episode.
Oh,
Get ready.
Let's just get into it.
Woo. Chapter 188, Cold White Ghost. Warm words confounding the crown prince. Xie Lian screams in a panic, pointing at the mirror with a pale face. Feng Xin is alarmed and confused. He doesn't see anything strange on his face at all, except a few cuts and scrapes. Xie Lian shouts, My face! Don't you see it? The thing on my face? But when he looks in the mirror again, nothing's there. Instead, he just sees his own reflection looking dirty and unkempt. Xie Lian is stunned. Is this me? Feng Xin grows more worried and insists that he stay behind and rest. Xie Lian hesitates. He doesn't want to stress Feng Xin more by telling him about White No-Face and adding to his troubles. Feng Xin leaves before Xie Lian can speak.
Xie Lian decides to rest after all, but as he's lying in bed, he smells something foul. It smells like a rat died in the corner. But when he searches the room for the source of the smell, he realizes that the smell is himself. It's been 2 weeks since he's washed or changed his clothes, and a wave of self-hatred and embarrassment crashes through him. He realizes that his parents and Feng Xin must have noticed his smell but didn't say anything. He goes outside and boils water for a bath, and after scrubbing himself roughly, he leaves the bath and reaches for his robes. But when he opens the robes, it's not his own robes, it's White No-Face's funeral robe with large billowing sleeves.
Xie Lian's body grows cold and he stumbles to the ground, knocking over the bathtub and spilling water everywhere. The king and queen hear the commotion and enter the room. Seeing Xie Lian sprawled on the floor naked, the queen rushes over, shocked, and hugs him. My son, what happened to you? Xie Lian is dripping wet and shaking and hugs her back tightly. Mom, a ghost. There's a ghost. There's a ghost clinging to me. He's constantly following me. He looks like a crazed madman that lost his mind, and the queen weeps in anguish and holds her son. The queen, who looks 60 when he's only 40, stares dumbfounded. Whoops. The king, who looks 60 years old but is only actually 40, stares dumbfounded.
Xie Lian points to his robes in a panic, but when he looks again, it's not White No-Face's funeral robes. It's his own white cultivation robes. He's filled with rage and he slams down his fists. Just what do you want? Are you playing with me? The queen hugs him tightly and says, My son, don't be angry. Just put on some clothes first. Put them on. Don't catch a cold. A long time passes before Feng Xin finally returns, looking more exhausted than usual. Xie Lian speaks to him as soon as he returns. Feng Xin, I have something very important to tell you. He's decided he needs to tell him about White No-Face.
But unexpectedly, Feng Xin says, Oh, good. I've got something to tell you. I've got something I wanted to say to you too. But he tells Xie Lian to go first. So Xie Lian tells him that White No-Face has returned and everything that's happened in their meeting. After hearing the whole story, Feng Xin wonders why White No-Face didn't kill Xie Lian and instead held him lovingly. What does it all mean? Feng Xin says that he will stay at the house for the next few days just in case. Thankfully, the food Mu Qing brought will last them for a while. Then Feng Xin asks what it is that he wanted to say earlier. Feng Xin hesitates, then stammers, Actually, it's... Your Highness, do you still have money on you? Or something that can be pawned?
Xie Lian is confused by this question. Obviously he has no more money on him. Feng Xin sighs, disappointed, and says, I thought so. Xie Lian thinks, and then he says, But didn't I gift you that golden belt before? Feng Xin mumbles, saying, That's not enough, far from it. Xie Lian is shocked. Is Feng Xin in some kind of trouble? Because Xie Lian is shocked. Is Feng Xin in some kind of trouble? Because Xie Lian is shocked. Is Feng Xin in some kind of trouble? Because Xie Lian is shocked. Is Feng Xin in some kind of trouble? Because Xie Lian is shocked. Is Feng Xin in some kind of trouble? Because Xie Lian is shocked. Is Feng Xin in some kind of trouble? Because Xie Lian is shocked. Is Feng Xin in some kind of trouble? Because Xie Lian is shocked. Is Feng Xin in some kind of trouble? Because Xie Lian is shocked. Is Feng Xin in some kind of trouble? Because Xie Lian is shocked. Is Feng Xin in some kind of trouble? Because Xie Lian is shocked. Is Feng Xin in some kind of trouble? Because Xie Lian is shocked. Is Feng Xin in some kind of trouble? Because Xie Lian is shocked. Is Feng Xin in some kind of trouble? Because Xie Lian is shocked. Is Feng Xin in some kind of trouble? Because Xie Does he owe someone money? How can a golden belt not be enough? But Feng Xin quickly reassures him that he's not in any trouble and tells Xie Lian not to worry and instead focus on his own problems first. Thinking about White No Face again, Xie Lian's heart sinks.
Just as Xie Lian predicted, White No Face harasses him nonstop for days. He sees the crying, smiling mask or the white silhouette all over the place, in reflections in the water, in dark corners, even when he opens a door. He scares him like it's entertainment, but only Xie Lian can see him. White No Face disappears as soon as the others rush over. Xie Lian passes the days in fearful agitation, bitterly wishing he could catch the creature and chop him up. He can no longer sleep at night and feels exhausted all the time.
Okay, we need to this is literally mental torture.
Yeah.
White No Face is just literally torturing this guy, and no one believes him because no one else sees him. So that's just fucked up.
They just think that Xie Lian is losing his mind.
Yeah, and he's acting like he's losing his mind because he's literally losing his mind.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. Poor Xie Lian.
One night, Xie Lian jolts awake. He feels thirsty, so he goes out quietly to get some water. But then he hears the voices of Feng Xin and his parents outside talking, and he listens. Feng Xin whispers out, "His Highness is resting now, right?" The queen whispers back, "Yes, he's asleep now." The king says, "Don't wake him too early tomorrow. Let him sleep in some more." The queen sighs and says, "If this keeps up, when will my son ever get better?" Feng Xin replies, "He's only like this because he's overworked. Too much has happened recently. Will your majesties also keep a close eye on him? And if there's anything off with his highness, please do let me know as soon as possible. But don't let him know. Also, don't say anything that will provoke him."
Xie Lian can feel the blood rush to his head. They think he's crazy. He raises his hand and crashes through the open. He raises his hand and crashes the door open. The others look up, startled. Xie Lian shouts, "You don't believe me! Are you saying that everything I say were? Are you saying that everything I saw were all Are you saying that everything I saw were all hallucinations? That I'm just delusional?" Feng Xin says, "I believe you, your highness, but you've been overworked too, and it's also the truth." Xie Lian realizes that even if Feng Xin trusts him, it's not complete trust. There's a part of Feng Xin's heart that doubts. Even Xie Lian can see from an outsider's perspective that he's been acting like a madman. Who can completely trust him?
But the Feng Xin of the past had complete faith in him no matter what. Seeing this change in Feng Xin is unbearable for Xie Lian. He is filled with rage and resentment. He turns and runs out the door. Feng Xin chases after him, but Xie Lian tells him to leave and don't follow. Feng Xin doesn't go, so Xie Lian just runs faster and faster until Feng Xin is left behind. He realizes that he can't keep this up. He needs to attack White No Face first. So he shouts out, "Come the hell out! You shady gutter monster, get the hell out!" But no one comes. Xie Lian runs for miles until he uses all of his strength, and then he bends down harshly to catch his breath.
After a while, he says under his breath, "So, you want to drag this out with me? Fine, we'll drag this out slowly." He walks until he is in a barren, deserted field deep in the mountains, filled with fog. But as he's walking, he's suddenly confronted with a giant wall of countless ghost fires. They block him from walking further and warn him to go back. All the ghost fires are led by a particularly strong and bright ghost fire. The strongest ghost fire gazes at Xie Lian with a burning intensity.
Okay, this is ramping up into a situation.
Yeah, something's gonna happen. Xie Lian's losing his mind. He's being harassed and stalked by White No Face.
And it's so unfair because if just one person believed him, he wouldn't feel so desperate. But literally no one can give him an ounce of trust. And at this time, Feng Xin already has his own troubles. He at this point is where he met who's that? What's that girl's name?
Zhang Lang?
Yeah, let's just say that.
The
mother of his child.
Long Cheng. Long
Cheng, yeah.
Who has two different names. It's very confusing.
She does. She has a fake name. But this is at the point in time where Feng Xin is courting this woman. Yeah. And that's why he's trying to get money because he wants to give her nice stuff and court her, and also she's in a prostitution house, so he also needs to like buy her freedom.
Oh yeah, I forgot that she became a
Yeah.
prostitute.
Yeah, she
Okay.
became a prostitute. So, yeah, everything's really fucked up. Like, Feng Xin's obviously like worried about other stuff. He's also still taking care of Xie Lian's parents while Xie Lian is like in a mental breakdown state. Like, Xie Lian is useless. He can't do anything. He just like lays in bed all day long, and like his parents can't do anything. So Feng Xin's like doing all the work, and so like he's just like, last thread also, which
Yeah.
sucks.
and now he's gonna go somewhere important.
Yes. Okay. Did you want
Yeah.
to look at any of the chat comments?
Yes, let me let Oolong out because as you can see, he's done being on my lap and he's not allowed to be in this room unless he's on my lap.
Yes.
Or else he'll pee.
Or else he's gonna pee
on the
everywhere.
bed.
But we don't want that to happen.
I love you
Let's
so
not
much.
have pee everywhere.
Oh God, he's so upset at me right now. His tail's flicking back and forth.
He's
Come
like,
on,
let me
little boy."
out. Yeah. Michael's like, time for some sadness and messed up stuff. Yeah, it's coming, you guys. You can kind of see the anticipation growing because like the way that things are like amping up and building up, it's just like he's like Xie Lian had like his support system, and slowly one by one his support system is like going away until like he's gonna be left alone. And that's just like the perfect time for the great evil to sneak in and like fuck him up.
Yep, isolating him.
Yes, yeah. You like having a support system is like so important in your life.
Yeah, I firmly believe in the idea of having as many friends as possible, because at least you'll get different perspectives from different people.
Oh, really? I'm always with the quality over quantity opinion.
I like both. I want like really close friends and then a lot of like not close friends, because I
Okay.
learn so much from so many different kinds of people all the time, and I learn.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like having different opinions and like being able to like bounce my ideas and like get different things, like things that I never would have thought about. Like that's important. But I don't know if I would call everyone like a friend. I don't know.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I don't know. I tend to keep things close to the heart. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I just like to listen to people a lot. So I tend to want to collect as many people in my life as possible so that I can just sit there and listen to them
Okay.
about their experiences and the things that they like. Because I've seen that in the last few years, there's so many things I never experienced, I'm never going to experience, or I don't want to experience, and I just rather just like live vicariously through other people and like
Oh yeah, that's why I like
live through
reading
their
books.
stories. Yeah,
I
exactly.
like I've always like loved reading ever since I was like in elementary school. So like I would stay up till 4 in the morning reading, and then I would miss school the next day. So like yeah, I've always been a fan of like learning vicariously through books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I get it. Okay, tangent. That was a tangent.
It was. It was.
I'm glad you guys are ready for pain. Okay, yeah, my cat, Oolong, he's not allowed to stay in here anymore unless the bed is gone.
He needs some training because like I don't know, like my cats are not that crazy.
Oolong just marks his territory. It sucks because he's has his balls removed.
Have you tried? They have this like plugin that has like smells that like help with cat pee and whatever.
Yep.
Like stop them from doing it.
Yep.
You already tried that?
Yep.
Okay.
He's
Well,
just
I don't know what else to tell you.
a fucking jerk. I know.
Yeah.
And
Just have to deal with
sucks.
it, I guess.
Yeah, because like I know that it's not just him. There's so many other cats out there who do the same thing. So I know that it's just kind of a luck of the draw.
Yeah.
Because like whatchamacallit,
Dang, I got lucky
like,
4 times.
Yeah, you did. Or like
How
the
did
way
I get
that
4 well-behaved cats?
the way that you raised them too, like you probably raised
Yeah.
them very well. Because like
Probably, yeah.
you know, Sean and Tasha, their old cat peed on
Yeah.
in people's suitcases. Yeah.
Ooh, that's awful. Ooh,
Yeah.
ooh, that'd be so awkward.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing.
Other friends, they're like, yeah, if I leave fabric on the ground while I'm cosplaying, like making stuff, they pee on the fabric. So I'm like, okay, at least I'm not alone in this.
My cats don't pee everywhere, but like they definitely like chew plastic and then throw it up. So I just as long as I don't leave plastic anywhere, everything is fine.
So thankfully, my cats only puke when there's hairballs, and I gave them hairball food, so they never puke anymore.
No, that's good.
But-
At least you don't have to deal with the puke.
I don't have to deal with puke, but I do have to deal with the
Yeah.
pee.
I feel like pee is worse than puke because it just like
Doesn't go
sinks.
away. Yes.
It just sinks. Yeah.
Smell doesn't go away.
It's just there forever.
Yeah, it could be someone saying it's a litter thing. It's
Oh,
definitely an
Gabby.
anxiety thing. I have too many people visiting my house all the time, and it seems like that's started to
Oh.
agutate Long.
Oh, poor Oolong.
Yeah,
I guess you have to
Poirot's
have like
fine with
limited
it, but
limited visits or something for his like sanity or
yeah, because he definitely pees on other people's things.
Aw.
Yeah.
Tardor says Jenny's personality rubbed off on her cats. What exactly is my personality that rubbed off? I don't know. Am I calm? Am I exuding calm energy? I don't know.
I feel like you always have zoomies. I don't know about calm
I don't know.
energy, but are your cats like hyperactive?
No, my cats are super chill and calm. They're
Yeah.
like they like always like zen or sleep. Like they mostly just sleep. Very chill. Okay. At least I don't pee on anything. My lack of peeing on things is rubbed off on my cats. Yes.
I don't pee on anything either.
Are you sure? I don't know. I don't know your life, Stella. I don't know how you live.
Oh my God. Okay.
I'm gonna continue. We're so off topic. Chapter 189. Cold White Ghost. Warm words confounding the Crown Prince. Xie Lian commands the leader Ghostfire to move, but it's silent and doesn't budge. The other Ghostfires continue to warn Xie Lian to turn away. Growing impatient, Xie Lian shoves his way past and warns them, "Keep following me and I might just disperse your spirits." Most of the Ghostfires get scared and shrivel back, but the lead Ghostfire continues to follow after him, but this time at a distance. Xie Lian is filled with sudden anger. In the past, no ghost or spirit dared to disobey him, but this little Ghostfire is ignoring his threat as if Xie Lian is a weakling. He cries out, "Even a little ghost like you is like this. You're all like this. Everyone's like this."
Xie Lian is filled with resentment, even though it's dumb to be angry at such a small thing. But the Ghostfire hears him and seems to understand, and stops moving. He leads all the other Ghostfires away and they disappear. As Xie Lian continues walking, he suddenly finds a Crown Prince temple in the middle of the fog. The temple is broken down and was raided by thieves. The establishment plaque is fallen and broken in half. He goes inside and sees that the divine statue is missing, probably smashed or burned already. The altar is empty, so Xie Lian sits on the ground waiting for White No Face to appear.
So as we remember, having a broken establishment plaque is like extremely bad juju. So that should already give you some sort of warning right here. After a moment, a figure does appear, but it's not White No Face. It's just a normal traveler who is also surprised to see Xie Lian there. He says that he got lost for a long time in the fog and found this place randomly. Xie Lian is worried that this is some kind of trick by White No Face, so he ignores him and just meditates. The man is confused, but he sits down to rest. Not long after, another confused traveler enters the temple. Xie Lian has a foreboding feeling. Sure enough, 2 hours later, more and more lost travelers enter the temple. There are men, women, elderly, and children. They're all travelers who got lost while walking and somehow ended up here. He even sees amongst the crowd that street performer who injured himself shattering 4 boulders on his chest.
Xie Lian has a feeling that White No Face brought these people here for an evil purpose, so he meditates longer to prepare his energy for a fight. 4 hours later, the temple is bursting with around 100 people. The people talk amongst themselves, wondering how to leave and why they're there. Xie Lian finally speaks up and says that they were brought here by an evil monster and they won't be able to leave so easily. The people are wary and don't seem to believe him. Just then, a new stranger approaches, but this time, the person is screaming and running like crazy towards the temple.
The people are alarmed, but the screaming man is running while covering his face, so he blindly runs into a tree and falls unconscious to the ground. Xie Lian goes to examine him, but right when he approaches, the man suddenly jumps up and screams twice, once from his own mouth, and again from a small mouth that is growing on his face. He has the human face disease. The plagued man tries to enter the temple, but Xie Lian pushes him away several meters and shields the temple entrance. The crowd panics. Didn't the human face disease only appear at the royal capital? Didn't it get extinguished? Why does that man have it?
But just then 10 more people with human face disease suddenly appear out of the woods. Xie Lian tells the travelers to stay inside. Then he pulls out a branch wielding it like a sword. He quickly and easily subdues the diseased people and the crowd cheers. But the next second, Xie Lian sees a white-clad figure waving at him from a distance, and his blood boils. He immediately runs towards him. A group of ghost fires follow after him, lighting his way in the fog. But strangely, White No Face is not trying to run away and stays still. Thinking this is a trick, Xie Lian stops running and turns back to the temple. White No Face sees...
Oh.
Sorry.
White No Face sees him go back and calls out, "Why aren't you following?" Xie Lian replies over his shoulder, "You just want to lead me away in order to spread another round of the human face disease, so why would I follow after you to let you have your way?" But White No Face smiles and says, "No, you're mistaken. My objective isn't to lead you away. My objective is only you." Xie Lian says, "Then just what exactly are you planning?" White No Face replies, "I've already told you. I want you to come to my side." Xie Lian points his tree branch at him, not looking very threatening at all, but a bright ghost fire lands at the tip of his branch, giving it a battle aura.
Xie Lian demands, "What do you want with me on your side? To take your life?" White No Face chuckles. "Your Highness, you're a beautiful block of jade. Allow me to guide and educate you." Xie Lian is furious. "And you think yourself worthy of educating me? My master is the Guoxi of Shenle. And what the heck are you? Where did you come from, you monster?" White No Face waves his finger. "You're mistaken again, Your Highness. Perhaps it's better to say that in this world, only I am worthy to educate you. Your master, the Guoxi of Shenle, before me, that creature isn't worth mentioning. On the contrary, you've been taking in very well the things I've been teaching you."
Xie Lian spits angrily. "What did you teach me? What nonsense are you spewing? I don't understand at all." White No Face mocks him. "The first thing I taught you was this. You are powerless in the face of many things in this world." Xie Lian lunges at White No Face, but he easily evades. He grabs Xie Lian, making him lose balance, and then gently pats the top of his head. He says, "The second thing, you want to save the common people, do you? The common people don't need to be saved by you. They aren't worthy." Xie Lian slaps the hand away and lunges again, but White No Face easily snaps the branch in half, moves behind Xie Lian, and grabs his head so tightly that Xie Lian feels like his brain will be pierced.
White No Face says, "If you don't come to my side, then you will never win against me, and you will always be defeated by me." Xie Lian says slowly, "It's only right now that I can't win. You can defeat me countless times, but you can't kill me. As long as you can't kill me, one day I'll surely defeat you." The ghost fire near Xie Lian burns brightly hearing his words, but White No Face replies, "I can't kill you? Indeed, I can't kill you. But I won't kill you either. Don't be too confident now. I hope you won't have regrets over this later." Xie Lian is confused, but before he can reply, White No Face knocks him unconscious.
When Xie Lian wakes up, he only sees the ghost fire floating above him. The ghost fire burns brightly and tries to press close, as if wanting to give Xie Lian warmth, but then it moves away as if thinking it's unacceptable. Xie Lian tries to reach out towards it, but he can't move, and he realizes that his hands and legs are bound. He's been tied down upon the altar in his broken divine temple. When he finally looks around, he sees many people standing below the altar, staring up at him with unblinking eyes. Okay, here we go, you guys.
Here we go, you guys. So that chapter is all of the psychological stuff that needs to happen before the actual terrible things.
Yeah. And like the things that White No Face is telling him are interesting. He's basically all of Xie Lian's core values, like what made him like a person and what gave him like purpose in life, the White No Face's entire like reason is to like break everything that Xie Lian believes in and like do the exact opposite.
Yes.
So just keep in mind that White No Face mentioned that he's teaching him 2 things, because there's more that comes later on. But oh God, what was the first thing he said? It was like, you are powerless in the face of many things in the world, because Xie Lian was an all-powerful, like super strong, no one could defeat him, #1 in martial arts, like god. And now he's showing him, like, you know, after the whole thing with the Civil War, like, you're powerless, you can't do anything, like, you know, like you're weak. And the second thing is like, you want to save the common people. Well, the common people don't need to be saved by you. They're not worthy of your saving. And this is the second lesson now, because the first lesson was from the previous book with the plague, and now we are in lesson number 2. Let's go.
Yep. Are you guys ready? Ready to feel very uncomfortable?
I'm not ready. Like, I'm not mentally or emotionally prepared for this.
Yeah.
It's like, like how Xie Lian feels with his like emotions. Like, I'm feeling it.
This next chapter, I talk to my friends about often whenever they ask me about BL. Just
same. It's like the highlight. It's like, it's this and any pick a scene from Urha, like any scene from Urha.
Any scene from Urha. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And I also talk about the golden core removal from Modao Sushi.
Yeah.
That shit sucks. That shit sucks so bad. Yikes. Okay, anyways.
Okay,
highlight.
Here we go, you guys. Chapter 190, Heart Pierced by 100 Swords. Savage Ghost Takes Form. So this chapter has a lot of body horror, so if you are squeamish, be careful.
Even writing was really gross, because I'm a really squeamish person, so this was rough.
Oof. The crowd of people are staring because Xie Lian's face has been uncovered, and they finally see his face. They recognize him as the crown prince of Shenle. Xie Lian realizes that the white silk covering his face has been removed and used to bind his arms and legs. But just then, there's screaming from outside, and Xie Lian looks up to see all the diseased people he had knocked out earlier have formed a circle outside the temple. They're holding hands in a circle and chanting, as if performing a crazed ritual. The people inside are terrified and wondering what to do. If they leave, won't they get infected?
Xie Lian tries to untie himself, but the silk band seems to have been injected with spiritual power and he can't break free. He roars out, "White No Face!" But then he feels a cold hand patting his head. Xie Lian freezes and turns to look. White No Face sits behind him in the darkness, and he reaches out to move Xie Lian and sit him up. Xie Lian is stuck sitting on top of the altar, unable to move anything but his head. The crowd is starting to panic. If they stay there longer, won't the human face disease just infect them? Xie Lian tries to calm them down, but then White No Face says coldly, "There is a way to get rid of and cure the face disease."
The people are excited. There's a cure? But Xie Lian feels his heart stop. White No Face says, "Why don't you ask His Highness? His Highness knows the method." Everyone turns to Xie Lian with hopeful faces and hopeful voices. But Xie Lian can't tell them there's a cure. It's too horrifying to say out loud. The crowd grows angry at Xie Lian for withholding the information, but then White No Face offers to tell them instead. Xie Lian yells at him to stop, but White No Face ignores him and reveals the whole truth behind the human face disease.
So the type of people least likely to get infected were soldiers. Why is it the soldiers? It's because they all did one action that isn't done by normal citizens. This action is the cure. If you do this action, you won't get infected. The crowd wonders what this action is, but White No Face laughs as he reveals the answer. The action is murder. The people are shocked. You actually have to kill someone to become immune? That sounds unbelievable. But Xie Lian knows that this is the truth. He verified the information himself. And then the crowd begins to look at each other suspiciously. If they need to kill in order to be immune, don't they have to kill each other? What a horrifying thought.
This is why Xie Lian kept the secret for so long. If the people found out that the cure is murder, the desperate people will do anything to not be infected. It wouldn't take long before chaos and bloodshed came. Xie Lian tries to calm the crowd down, telling them that they need to act rationally, but the people are really feeling despair. But the people are already feeling despair. A woman wails out, "How did it turn out like this? Why did it come to this point? Why does it have to be us of all people? We never did anything wrong." Another person says angrily, "What's the use of crying to the point that it turns into a nuisance? You might as well shut your mouth." The tension of the situation is causing people to lose their temper.
Xie Lian can see that they're on the edge of a bad situation, and he tries to calm them down again. But the crowd only grows more agitated. They say, "Stay calm? How can we be calm in this sort of situation? If you're so calm, why don't you think of something? Let's see what you got." But Xie Lian has no solution. Suddenly, he feels a pinch on his cheek. A hand cups his face, and White No Face says, "Who to kill?" Upon seeing this face, do you still not know who to kill? The crowd falls silent. White No Face says, "Did you forget? He is a god, which means..."
In the next second, Xie Lian feels a wave of coldness. He looks down and sees that a black sword has been He looks down and sees that a black sword has been stabbed through his back, pushing out of his abdomen. The tip of the sword slowly inches back until it disappears. White No Face finishes, "His body is immortal." Then he tosses that sword towards the people, and it pierces the ground before numerous pairs of eyes. A gush of blood rushes out of Xie Lian's throat, and he chokes. The ghost fire quickly flies towards him as if trying to cover his wound, but it's pointless. So it then shoots out at White No Face.
However, White No Face catches that ghost fire easily and says, "Take a good look." Then he yanks Xie Lian's face towards him, saying, "Aren't you the one who proclaimed that you wanted to save the common people?" Below the altar, many of the people are scared by this horrifying scene, but a few of them daringly say, Would he really not die?" Another person says, "It's true. Take a look. There's barely any blood. He's still alive and breathing just as before." Another man says, "So in other words, even if we kill him, he wouldn't die? That's great." Another person argues, "Great? What's so great about this? To stab someone, that's too..."
But then another voice calls, "But he's a god. Even if he's stabbed, he still wouldn't die. We're just common folks here. If we were to get infected with the face disease, then our fates are sealed." White No Face watches the scene and mocks. "The common people are here, waiting for you to save them. Please, go ahead." Xie Lian says angrily, "The only way to save the common people is to eradicate a twisted monster like you." White No Face sneers. "What's the matter, Your Highness? Didn't you confidently say that you won't be able to die? You couldn't possibly be scared now. Since you won't be able to die, then sacrifice yourself and relieve others of their suffering. Isn't that a delightful thing?"
Xie Lian spits out, "Was this your plan all along? You think that everyone in this world is as sadistic as you?" Many people in the crowd look hesitant, and no one dares to pick up the blade. But White No Face laughs out loud, then shakes his head and sighs. "Stupid child, foolish child." He says with pity, "You think they won't want to do it? Wrong. It's not that they don't want to, it's solely because no one wants to be the first. That's all." Suddenly, there is a painful scream. A woman cries out that her child has been infected. Everyone backs away in fear. Then the husband and wife look at each other with empty eyes.
In the next second, they jump to their feet and pull out the black sword, holding it in the child's hands. With tight faces, they lunge at Xie Lian. The black blade is exceedingly sharp, and Xie Lian feels excruciating pain explode from his abdomen. The husband and wife pull out the sword and drop it to the ground with a loud clang. They apologize nonstop. Sorry, our child is still young. There really was no other way. Sorry. They bow many times in front of Xie Lian and then return back into the crowd. Xie Lian can feel thick layers of blood clogging his throat, choking him.
White No-Face snickers behind him. Xie Lian forces down the mouthful of blood and hisses out, "What are you laughing at? You think you got what you wanted? This was all forced by you." The little ghost fire is struggling in White No-Face's hand as he says, "Humans need force in order to reveal their true selves." The crowd watches as the dark spots fade from the child's arm. He really has been cured. There is a heavy silence. After a long while, a young man steps out. He walks to the altar and bows and begs, saying, "I'm sorry, I don't want to do this. I really don't want to do this. But I don't have any other way. I recently just got married. My mother, my wife, they're still at home waiting for me."
Then the young man raises the sword with closed eyes and thrusts it at Xie Lian. However, the sword misses the target and punctures Xie Lian's side instead. When the man opens his eyes and sees that the spot wasn't fatal, he panics, pulls out the weapon, and stabs again with trembling hands. Xie Lian grits his teeth to prevent any sound from escaping, but he can't help let out a small whimper after the first two. He can't help letting out a small whimper after the two stabs. More blood seeps out from the sides of his lips. It's true that he won't die, but he can feel all of that pain. He can hear the sound of his flesh mangling from the weapon. He can feel his bone being scraped inside. He's like any mortal and wishes for death to end this torture.
When that young man steps down from the altar, he doesn't give a single bow. His face is a mixture of regret and joy, no longer worried about being infected. He retreats to the group and another heavy silence falls. Another man suddenly stands up and says, "I can't stand this anymore." It's that street performer. He scolds the crowd. "Are you honestly doing everything this monster tells you to do? From what I see, he's just babbling nonsense. Even if it was true, just because he can't die doesn't mean that this isn't murder." Another person accuses, "A person like you probably don't even have elders or children in your family, right? But a lot of us here have a family to look after. How can we be compared to you?"
The street performer points at the husband and wife from earlier. "It's true I don't have a wife and son, but if I had, even if I had to die, I would never let my son see me resort to using those methods, let alone to guide him hand in hand in doing it. If your child grows up to be a criminal, it's the parents who are to blame. If you're that eager, why not let your child take a stab at you?" The wife says miserably, "Don't curse my son. If you want to curse at me instead." The husband shouts, "Have you lost your mind? You want my son to kill his own mother and father? How immoral."
The street performer retorts, "Killing is still killing. At least it can be said as courage if you let your son kill you. Speaking of which, why don't you guys go for that strange creature in the mask?" White No-Face laughs out loud and the crowd grows afraid. They tell the performer to shut up. What if they accidentally anger the monster? The street performer can't believe this. "Oh, so you don't have the balls to kill the big evil guy and instead choose to stab another?" Someone says angrily that if he's so righteous, why doesn't he just sacrifice himself? The performer responds that he doesn't want to sacrifice himself, but he refuses to stab either.
The argument is getting heated, so Xie Lian coughs weakly and calls out to the street performer, Thank you, but it's okay. If this continues, the man would be beaten, and he already had grave internal wound. He already had in great. He already has grave internal wounds from their competition. Just then, someone screams and points at the performer. The disease has spread to him. Bumps are forming on his face. The street performer touches his face in shock, but instead of moving towards Xie Lian, he turns and runs out of the temple. He runs past the group of infected people outside and disappears into the woods.
Another silence falls on the group, and no one touches the sword. But just then, someone stands up and says, "Can I say something?" This person is a middle-aged man, and Xie Lian suddenly recognizes him. The man says, in all honesty, he's tried to rob me before." The crowd is shocked. The crown prince? Isn't he a god? He committed robbery? The man says nothing further and sits back down. Though no one speaks, a seed of darkness is planted in their hearts. A moment later, people shout out in the crowd, "More people have been infected by the disease. There are whole faces growing on people's bodies. How did the disease progress so quickly?"
It is pure chaos in the temple as everyone inspects their bodies and discovers they're all infected with faces. Xie Lian's heart pounds nonstop like it'll break through his chest. This must be White No-Face's doing. Before he can speak, a person with red eyes suddenly says, You're a god. You're a prince. Yet you dare commit robbery?" Xie Lian is dumbfounded. The man continues, "We pray to you. And what did you do? Rob? What did you bring? A plague? Wait, what? We pray to you, and what did you do? Rob? What did you bring? A plague?" Xie Lian is shocked. He didn't bring the plague, but it's too late. The people have reached their breaking point.
The entire crowd of 100 people surround the altar. One of them reaches out and pulls up the black sword from the ground. The man with the sword mumbles, You need to ask for forgiveness, right? You need to atone for your sins, right?" Xie Lian's fear has soared to the peak. There are so many people. If every single one of them stabs him, what will become of him? He'll be punctured countless times, leaving nothing but thousands of holes and a pile of flesh. Even if he physically survived, could his heart survive? Would he ever be the same? Xie Lian cries out, "Help!" But before he can say, "Help me," the icy black blade is thrust into his body.
The sword is pulled out, and the next person grabs it without wasting time and stabs straight in the same spot. The sound Xie Lian tried to suppress finally breaks free, and a painful, long scream tears through his body. The people are horrified by the scream and say, "Don't let him cry out. Let's speed this up and get the job done fast." Xie Lian feels people muffling his mouth and restraining his hands and feet. A man says, "Hold him down and don't let him fall. Also, don't stab in the wrong spot. If it's not fatal, it doesn't count."
Xie Lian can only hear the voices of the people. "Line up one by one. No cutting the line." "Which area is fatal? How would I know if it counts or not?" "Whatever you do, just aim it at the heart, throat, and abdomen. If you're not sure if you stabbed a fatal area, just do it again." "No way. If you get one more turn, where would others stab?" Time passes. There is only the endless in and out movements of the sword. Xie Lian's eyes are wide open and fat tears roll down his face. His heart is silently screaming, "Help me, help me, help me. It hurts, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts. Why can't I die? Why can't I die?"
Xie Lian wants to scream and wail, but his throat has been slashed. It's like he's suffering all the pain from multiple lifetimes, and he can feel nothing else but pain. He can't see. The world is pitch black, other than the ball of fire that is burning furiously nearby. But it can't escape the grasp of White No-Face. Xie Lian can't hear his own scream, but he hears the sound of another heart-wrenching wail. It seems to be coming from the ghost fire. The pain in the scream is the same as his. as if he was the one who made that sound. In the end, he loses his sanity and his consciousness completely shatters.
At that moment, an explosion happens within the temple and a wave of raging fire gushes out. The fire is so large and devastating that no one inside can escape, and the 100 people inside the temple are burned to charcoal black bones. When the fire subsides, the small ghost fire has vanished, and instead, a young man is there. He drops to his knees in front of the burnt altar, clutching his head and bellowing in pain. He doesn't dare to look up at the altar because the person lying there no longer looks human.
White No Face cackles uncontrollably as he exits the temple. He walks past bones and skulls scattered throughout the temple without a care. Even the diseased people outside have been burnt to death, and there's nothing but dried up corpses. Outside, the entire mountain shakes in agony. Thousands of souls looking like black shadows fly into the sky, escaping the mountain. The shadows form a black cloud, which slowly spins above the temple until it resembles a demonic eye. This is the birth of a savage ghost.
I hate it. I fucking hate it. I hate people. I hate humans. I hate everybody. Oh my
Yep.
god. Please, why? Why?
So bad. I'm surprised you
Why?
didn't include the line in which he describes his body parts as ribbons.
Was that in this?
I think it was. It fucked me up. I mean,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was in the book, but basically it was saying that he looked down at one moment and realized that he couldn't recognize his body parts because it just looked like ribbons.
Oof. Oof. I don't remember that being in the translation, but it might come up later on in the story.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's fucked. It's fucked. Everything is fucked, you guys. Just everything is fucked. He's literally just like he doesn't even have a voice because there's nothing left of his body. It's
Yeah.
not even human. It's literally lumps of flesh.
Yeah.
Imagine hundreds. I can't. It's so hard to imagine because like it's so gruesome.
Yeah.
It's too fucked up
He's been stabbed almost 100 times, if not more, because some people stabbed him twice.
because they fucking missed.
Yeah.
And they decided they need to go again. And it's crazy how like I love the pacing of the way that she wrote this because at first the people are uncertain and scared and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, I know what to do. We should just like, tie him up. Don't let him speak. Just stab. Everyone form a line." They got really organized really fast because they're like, "We need to survive and the only way to survive is to do this evil deed." And they're not even like hesitating anymore. They're like, "Let's just get this done." And they just like view it as like they need to do this to survive as opposed to like, oh, I'm hurting another human being. Like they're just the mentality switch was
Yeah.
so well written because it comes across not even as a description. It's from their it's from the way they speak. It's from their dialogue that you can see this mentality switch. So that was really well done, like well written.
I agree. And it goes to show how much of an allegory it is to like how people are treated and canceled because it even though their actual evil thing, the monster, White No Face, was standing right there, no one dared even approach him.
Oh God, no! Look, they're too fucking scared of the actual thing that they would rather pick an easier battle. Like they know if they fight White No Face, they will lose, and they're like, I know that's the more fucked up thing, but that's really difficult. So let me just do something else instead.
Yes. And focus all of my energy punishing someone who doesn't deserve to be punished because that happens all of the time.
It does. It does. And people get away with it because they are that powerful and they have that power and they are untouchable basically.
Yeah.
You know, no one can stand up to them and no one can do anything about it. And they just like get away scot-free. And it's fucking stupid.
It's so stupid.
Oh, Kate says Hua Cheng screaming. Oh my. So obviously the little ghost fire is Sanlang or Hua Cheng.
Hua Cheng.
And he's just stuck because he's a little ghost fire. He can't do anything until the very last part of this chapter.
His despair caused him to explode in flame, which caused him to kill all these people, which gave him a level up. So the cursed version of this, the dead dove do not eat version of this, is that he just gets ding, 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 just a bunch of level ups.
Oh my God, we should have. added dead dove on the tags. That would have been a good one.
Oh shit! No, he hasn't even gotten back to me.
Oh
with,
my god!
like,
Tell him to add dead dove. Do not eat.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna dead
Sorry,
dove,
this is
do
so.
not eat.
That just reminded me. I was like, that's
Yes.
a good tag.
Okay,
That's a good tag. I love that tag.
Yeah, me too. Constantly
good
search
tag.
that tag as a dark tag.
Okay. Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, I hope you guys
anyways,
are
yeah,
enjoying
it's,
this. It's really
everything
intense.
is depressing, and
Yeah.
the next chapter is also sad. Just like putting that out there.
Oh, it gets worse and worse,
It
you
doesn't get
guys.
any better. Yeah, and also like, I just White No Face this entire time. Just keep in mind that he's only laughed and he's only been smiling. He's never been like angry or upset. Like he's only been in a good mood because he's like, I am getting everything I wanted. Like everything is going my way.
Yeah.
And yeah, you'll just keep that in mind for later because it's gonna change. But oh my god.
Yeah. Oh my god. Fuck.
Oh my
guys.
god. And also the street performer.
Yeah, which is
Oh my
great that
gosh.
he existed because it was the, 1 in 100 people are good people.
Yeah.
Like
The one person
actually
who
good
decided
people.
to speak out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels like that in real life as well. Like 100 people, if you told them something and started a mob, one maybe will
Yeah.
be
Have
different.
the bravery to speak out.
Yeah, and act
And
different and think for themselves.
It's so hypocritical of like that family who was like, well, why don't you sacrifice yourself? And it's like, why did you kill this kid? Why did you kill Xie Lian instead of like sacrificing yourself if you care that much about like your son's well-being? And everyone is just like coming up with excuses to defend their actions, and it's everything sucks. It just sucks. Yeah. It's not fair. Nothing is fair.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, my heart is sad. I like twisted my cable into like nothingness. I was just like,
Yeah, I was like holding myself and like.
I know. I was like, I don't know what to do with my hands. I'm so upset right now. Oh.
Street performer son is the best dude. I agree, Tangurius.
Oh man. Wait till the next chapter though. Just keep in mind that the street performer ran out after being infected. So just, just keep that in mind. He'll come back. He'll come back. I feel so bad for Xie Lian. It's like, and also, so he was bound by the white rope that he was, or the white cloth that he was using to cover his face, and it was imbued with spiritual energy in order to be unbreakable to keep him bound. So, also important. Like, there's a lot of little things in here because, like, in the midst of this like big thing, like a lot of really important key moments of this book are happening.
Yep. All right. Let's keep going.
Are we doing it? Okay, here we go. Okay. So, chapter 191. No grief, no joy. White cloth brings calamity to this world. And trigger warning for this chapter is mentions of suicide. Okay. After some time, Xie Lian comes to, feeling numb and empty-minded, almost as if he were sleeping with his eyes open. White No Face approaches him with the black sword and presents it to him like a gift. He straps the sword to Xie Lian's waist, and Xie Lian neither speaks nor resists. In a numb state, Xie Lian puts on a new set of robes and drags his body out of the temple. But before he can leave, White No Face stops him and says, "You forgot this." He hands him that white silk band that was used to bind him. Xie Lian wobbles down the mountain alone. On the way down, he stops by a clear stream and sees his reflection. His face and body are smooth and pale, without a single cut.
Xie Lian can't look at himself any longer, and he kneels down to drink water and wash his face. But then he notices something upstream. There's a corpse. The corpse is of the street performer next to a giant boulder, which is covered in blood. It looks like the street performer smashed himself against it and died. The corpse is already rotten and foul, half submerged in the water, but the tiny faces growing on the corpse are still moving. Xie Lian bends over and pukes out everything until there's only blood. He eventually descends the mountain and is aimlessly wandering the main streets of town when suddenly a hand yanks him into an alley.
The hand turns into a fist and punches, while an angry voice shouts out, "Where did you run off to these past few days?" Xie Lian does not dodge and is knocked down by the fist, which belongs to Feng Xin. Feng Xin wasn't expecting Xie Lian to fall, and he looks down at him confused. Xie Lian, Xie Lian quietly crawls up, and Feng Xin continues to say, "You've got such a temper, dropping only a word before running away, disappearing for 2 months. Did you know just how worried His Majesties have been?" Xie Lian wipes his bloody nose and says, "I'm sorry." Feng Xin is worried and asks him what happened. Where did he get that new sword?
Xie Lian wants to tell him what happened, but then he remembers that they fought the last time they met, and how Feng Xin doubted him and thought he was crazy. Plus, he doesn't want to remember what happened to him. So he only repeats, "I'm sorry." He returns to the cottage with Feng Xin, and his mother cries and hugs him, while his father quietly says a few words. They're all afraid that if they do or say anything wrong, Xie Lian will run away again, so they act very carefully around him. After eating a simple meal, Xie Lian gives the black sword to Feng Xin and tells him to pawn it, since didn't he need money before? Feng Xin looks guilty and says that he doesn't need money anymore, so Xie Lian just silently tosses the sword aside and goes to sleep.
For the next few days, Xie Lian acts like nothing is wrong, wanting everything to return to normal as soon as possible, so that he can feel normal again. He decides to go out with Feng Xin to busk, but it turns out that during the 2 months that he was gone, Feng Xin has not been able to earn much money busking because the novelty of his tricks have worn off. The audience is no longer entertained by his archery tricks, so even working half a day, they earn less than 10% from before. Xie Lian offers to perform next, despite Feng Xin's protests. He picks up a branch and strikes out sword forms. The audience is impressed and cheers, but Feng Xin watches him with a complicated expression.
Xie Lian continues his performance without shame, but someone from the crowd shouts out that it's boring and pathetic. He wants Xie Lian to switch to a real sword if he wants any rewards. Feng Xin's about to shut him up, but Xie Lian suddenly flashes to the man, grabs him, and throws him high into the air. The man is thrown meters away, causing the entire crowd to gape with shock. The man lands heavily to the ground, bleeding from all orifices and crying pathetically. But Xie Lian isn't done. He picks him up again and says emotionlessly, "There's no real swords, but I can really take your life. Do you want to see?"
The crowd runs away shouting, "Somebody, help! Murder!" Feng Xin is shocked. "Your Highness!" Xie Lian ignores him and is ready to throw the man again, but Feng Xin holds him down and shouts, "Your Highness! Wake up! You're gonna kill this man!" Xie Lian's eyes are burning with rage, and he smacks Feng Xin's hand away, pressing the man to the ground until he passes out. Feng Xin kneels to check if the man is alive, when suddenly Yong'An soldiers appear. Feng Xin is ready to run away, but Xie Lian stands still, glaring at the soldiers as if to fight. Feng Xin pulls him away and says, "What are you still standing there for? Run!"
They run away back to their hidden cottage, but the moment they enter the door, Feng Xin shouts, "How could you do something like that?" Xie Lian tells the queen, "Go to your room." The queen is confused and says, "My son, just what?" Xie Lian interrupts, "Go back to your room." The queen doesn't dare say any more and leaves. Then Xie Lian turns to Feng Xin. "What did I do?" Feng Xin says angrily, "You were going to kill that man." Xie Lian replies, "He didn't die, and so what if he dies?" Feng Xin is dumbfounded. "What did you say? What do you mean, so what if he dies?" Xie Lian replies, "That pleb was asking for it. Since he asked for it, I gave it to him. Was I wrong?"
Feng Xin is stunned by Xie Lian's words. He says, "He was causing trouble, but you didn't need to kill him. Smack him around and let it go. He didn't deserve to die over some petty words." Xie Lian replies, "Of course he did. He dare say it, then he needs to pay the price." Feng Xin is filled with disbelief. "How can you say something like that?" Xie Lian says, "Like what?" Feng Xin replies, "You wouldn't have used the word pleb before in the past. You've never said it before." Xie Lian replies, "What are you trying to say? It's not like I'm a god. Can't I be angry? Can't I hate?" He doesn't want to talk anymore and he goes into his room, slamming the door. The moment the door shuts, he screams and throws himself onto the bed.
Xie Lian realizes that he's been fooling himself. It's impossible to pretend that nothing happened. It's impossible to return to before. That night, the queen knocks on Xie Lian's door, offering a plate of food since he hasn't eaten yet. Xie Lian almost says out loud, "Even if I haven't eaten, I don't want to eat what you've made." But he swallows his word with effort. The queen introduces her dish. "This is lovebirds upon a branch meatballs, and this is blissful full moon stew." Xie Lian interrupts her. "Why do you name these things?" The queen says, "Don't dishes all have names?"
Xie Lian replies, "That's for imperial dining in the palace. Ordinary folks don't give names to dishes." The queen hesitates and then smiles. "Well, no one said you have to be dining imperially in order to give dishes names, so just take this as a wish for good fortune." Xie Lian does not smile back, and he does not touch the food. The queen asks why he and Feng Xin fought, but Xie Lian doesn't have the energy or the desire to explain the whole situation. He tells her to just stay in her room and don't mind it. The queen hesitates and then says that Feng Xin has been looking after them while Xie Lian was gone. Xie Lian demands, "Mother, what are you trying to say?"
The queen says quickly, "My son, don't be angry. I'm not trying to blame you. I'm really not. I know you're having a hard time too. I'm only saying that child Feng Xin has always followed us, followed you, and it's not easy. I could sense that it's not that he didn't want to go, but having stayed until today was all because he still remembers the affection between you two." Before she can continue, Xie Lian interrupts and shouts, "Who's had it easy? Has it been easy for me? Mother, can you please stop asking questions? Can you please not involve yourself in things you don't understand?"
Xie Lian is heading to the door, but the queen panics and says, "My son, where are you going? I'll stop talking. Mother won't say anything anymore. Come back." Xie Lian shouts, I know everyone's having a hard time, but don't worry, I'll go make things easier for everyone." Xie Lian leaves and doesn't return until hours later, with a few sacks in hand. When he enters the cottage, he realizes that no one's gone to bed and they're all waiting up for him. Quickly, the queen forces a happy smile and says, "My son, you've come back. I won't ever ask you anything unnecessarily. I won't ever ask you anything unnecessary from now on, so please don't leave so suddenly. If there's anything, Mother will definitely listen to you."
Everyone is terrified that Xie Lian will leave without a word again. Xie Lian just says, "You all think too much. I wasn't gonna leave. Just go and rest." The king and queen enter their room and Feng Xin says, "Even if I asked you where you went, you wouldn't tell me, right?" Without a word, Xie Lian tosses the sacks down. And gold and silver wares tumble out. He reveals that he's stolen from a rich house in the city. No one saw, and now they don't have to kill themselves performing on the streets anymore. Feng Xin is horrified and mumbles, "How did you become this way?" Instead, Xie Lian asks Feng Xin, Why did they suffer this whole time? What was the point?"
Xie Lian says, "What was the me in the past? Doesn't talk back while being cursed at? Doesn't fight back while being beaten? Overestimating myself? Save the common people? What is that? Isn't that a dumbass? Do you think a dumbass is better? Do you think that's the me that I should be? If I wasn't, are you going to be very shocked?" Feng Xin is stunned. "Are you crazy?" Xie Lian replies, "You're wrong. I'm not crazy. I've just suddenly woken up. Then I discovered it was the past me who was crazy." Feng Xin mumbles, "Why are you like this? When did you become this way? I really don't know. Then why have I followed you all this time?"
Xie Lian says, "Then stop following." Feng Xin thinks he's misheard. "What?" Xie Lian repeats, I said, don't follow me anymore. Then he slams the door in Feng Xin's face. 4 hours later, it's morning, and Xie Lian can hear low voices outside of his room. It's Feng Xin saying goodbye to the king and queen. A moment later, the door opens, then closes, and Feng Xin is gone. Xie Lian closes his eyes. Ever since Mu Qing left, he'd been terrified that Feng Xin would leave too. But now, it's finally happened. The fear is gone, but it's been replaced with deep agony. Xie Lian had hoped that no matter what wrongs he's done, Feng Xin would still stay. He's been his bodyguard since he was 14, and they never left each other's side. But Feng Xin really left.
Outside the door, the queen says, "My son, I'm so sorry." Xie Lian goes outside and says, "It's none of your business." The queen replies, "Father and mother dragged you down and made you do bad things for our sakes, and even made you and Feng Xin argue." Xie Lian smiles and says, "What bad things? Aren't tales and legends all full of stories of stealing from the rich to help the poor? Since Feng Xin's gone, he's gone. It's pretty good, actually. With him gone, things will be more relaxed. Relaxed on both sides. You two just focus on healing. Tomorrow we can go and buy the best medicine."
The king glares and says that he refuses to use that money. He tells him to go chase after Feng Xin and bring him back. The queen also agrees that he should go after Feng Xin. But Xie Lian says that Feng Xin is no longer his loyal servant. Since there's money here, they should use it. After a long silence, the queen says, "I'm so sorry, my son. Mom and Dad can see. You've been struggling very hard on your own. But Mom and Dad are only mortals. We can't help you at all, and we need your care too." Xie Lian has no more energy to talk and leaves, taking off his clothes and bandages to take a rough bath, and then sleep.
When Xie Lian wakes up, it is late the next day, and he wonders why no one woke him up. Then he remembers that Feng Xin has left. Shouldn't his mother have woken him instead? Usually he can hear his father's coughing, but he doesn't hear any coughing now. Xie Lian feels uneasy. He grabs his clothes to wear, but the silk band is missing. He pushes open the door and says, "Mother, have you seen my—" But the moment he pushes open the door, his pupils shrink to 2 small dots. He found his white silk band. The white silk band hangs on the beam, dangling 2 unmoving figures, their bodies stiff. His mother and his father.
Xie Lian falls to the ground. He covers his face with his hands and can't breathe. He chokes. He cries. He laughs and cries. "It wasn't... No, Wait, you can't... Finally, he turns and screams, smashing his own head against the wall over and over. He should have known. His father was a conservative king, and his mother couldn't bear to see her loved one suffering. Xie Lian mumbles, "Feng Xin, my father and mother are gone." But no one is listening. After a moment, he realizes he needs to bring his parents' bodies down. No one else can help him.
Xie Lian lowers them and then wanders aimlessly around the house. On the table are some horrible-looking cold dishes. It's the same ones his mother offered the night before. Xie Lian sits and eats everything, not leaving a single leaf or grain of rice. After he eats, he pukes. Suddenly, Xie Lian grabs the white silk and throws it back over the beam, putting his own neck through the knot. He suffocates, and his eyes fill with blood, and his bones crack. But he still remains conscious and clear-headed. He hangs there for a while until, strangely, the white silk band loosens on its own. Xie Lian falls to the ground dizzy and sees that the white silk band is moving on its own like a snake.
The silk band was infused with spiritual powers, dyed with Xie Lian's blood, and hung 2 royals to death. It carried such deep resentment and evil that it turned into a spirit. But the silk band was just born and doesn't understand the dark origins of its birth. and it happily drifts to Xie Lian, who has given it a soul, looking for affection. But Xie Lian is blind to it and clutches his head, screaming, "Somebody, somebody, come kill me!" He prays for someone to take his life and help him break free from this endless pain and torture.
Just then, he hears the sounds of drums in the distance. Xie Lian looks up with bloodshot eyes and stumbles out to take a look. After walking a long time, he realizes that the sounds are from a celebration of the newly built palace for Yong'An Kingdom. All the citizens who used to be of Shanle are now cheering for Yong'An, just like how they cheered for him during the heavenly parade. Xie Lian falls to the ground. Why does he have to listen to the happiness of Yong'An when the king and queen of Shanle have died? He buries his face into his hands and cries and laughs, cries and laughs. Then he giggles. You won't get off so easily. Xie Lian has a flash of memory. The human face disease. The method to create it.
He drops his voice. "I won't let any of you off so easily." His expression is like crying, but laughing, like joy and sadness mixed together. "Yong'An, forever peace? Dream on forever. I curse all of you. I curse all of you. I want all of you to die, perish completely." He laughs and runs, but as he runs, he passes a mirror and he notices his appearance has changed completely. Instead of his white cultivator robes, he's wearing snow-white funeral garb with billowing sleeves. He wears a half-crying, half-smiling mask on his face. In the past, he might have screamed in horror, but now he only laughs like a maniac and continues to run.
Xie Lian reaches the old capital of Shanle, which is now nothing more than a ruined battlefield. He walks through the wreckage, trampling on the bones of the dead. He says coldly, "Do you hate the people you swore to protect and die? The people you swore to protect and die for have now become the citizens of the new kingdom. Do you hate?" The dead souls shriek and wail in response. He says, "They've forgotten you, who have died on the battlefield, forgotten your sacrifices, and are cheering for those who robbed away your lives. Do you hate?" The souls howl and roar. He says sharply, "What's the use in screaming? Answer me. Do you hate?"
Thousands of voices filled with resentment and agony respond. I hate, kill. I want to kill them." Xie Lian opens his arms and says, "Come to my side. I promise the people of Yong'An shall never know peace." The dead souls of the Shenle soldiers and the dead souls of those who died from human face disease all billow up into the sky, covering it with black mist. Is this not the white-clothed calamity? But just then, Xie Lian hears the voice of a young man behind him. "Your Highness." He turns around, and behind him he sees a black-clothed youth bowing before him, bending one knee to the ground. I'm so immensely sad right now.
Oh my god. They really just did not give him a single break.
So, as you can see, this is the birth of Royer, the band, the spiritual
his little
device.
White band. Little bandage.
Yep. If you were ever like, wow, it's so cute and it's so funny and it's so helpful and it's not helpful and all these kinds of things.
Remember those scenes where they like humanized him and gave him a personality and had him fighting with the other weapons? Yeah, remember how cute that was?
It's so cute. So cute. Him, the Royer against Yiming and Feng Xin, the
Feng
sword,
Xin.
just
Yeah,
chilling.
So cute.
Yep.
And how he loves women and he likes binding Ling Wen. So cute. Such a personality.
Yeah. Yeah. Great.
Yeah. So he was like, he fucking bound Xie Lian while he was getting stabbed. And then he was used to hang his mother and father. So that's cool. That's cool. And then when Xie Lian was trying to hang himself, he literally couldn't die.
Yep.
And so that became a spiritual weapon. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool story. Cool
Literally
beans.
the fact that he even ate his mom's food and
Oh my god.
then,
He
had
threw
to
it
throw
all
it
up.
up.
Yeah, that's so sad. He just he has so many regrets. He regrets Feng Xin and Mu Qing leaving. He regrets robbing. He regrets speaking harshly to his parents. Like there's nothing but just
Regret.
emptiness.
All regret.
And just
Everything
pain.
he's lost.
So much pain. Like and like he's been I love that line where he said that like he was afraid this entire time. He's been carrying this fear that Feng Xin would leave him, and now that he's finally left, he's like relieved that he no longer has to feel that fear, but it's been instantly replaced with like deep sadness.
Yeah.
So it's just like and I also love the way they characterize Xie Lian, because he's gone through such a huge traumatic event and he doesn't have the energy to talk about it, to explain what happened to it. And this is like very common of trauma victims. Like they just don't have, it's so hard to relive those memories and like try to talk to anyone about it. So eventually like it doesn't get talked about at all. And people who are always like, why don't you tell anyone? Why don't you tell anyone? It's like, it's really hard.
Yeah.
It's really, really hard.
You want, especially after nobody believed him on anything.
Oh my god, literally no one believed him. So like, why would they believe him now? You know, like he's already feels defeated.
And what are they gonna do after listening to him? They can't undo everything that just happened.
He's constantly thinking like, what's the point? What's the point? Like, and he's finally like hurting people.
Mm-hmm.
He's hurting people on purpose because he has like all this like anger and he's like taking it out on other people. And oh my god, it's bad. If people are being awful, it could be because they're like hurting and you just don't know it and you don't see it.
Yes, that is completely it. That's why every time I see somebody who's angry, I don't face them with anger. Instead, I
try to be understanding.
I try and be understanding, or I try and redirect their energy in a different way. But I never try and face anger with anger.
Yeah, absolutely not. It's like, it's not gonna help anybody. Like it doesn't solve anything.
Yeah, it doesn't. Oh my god, my heart.
I feel so empty right now. Like I just feel dead.
I know. I don't know what to. I'm like holding myself and like crossing
my
arms.
I'm afraid I'm gonna break this wire because I've been just like yanking at it and pulling it and just like this shit is not gonna last any longer.
Seriously.
Oh my god. Yeah, someone said to him calling after Feng Xin after finding his parents because that's like the first person he would turn to because that's his best friend from childhood. And he's not there anymore. He left. He kicked him away. He pushed him away.
Literally the next day. Literally the next day.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. I'm just dying. I'm just dying.
Come on, Oolong. You're gonna be my emotional support cat.
And Xie Lian finally is like, he's become white no face.
Mm-hmm.
And like he doesn't even care anymore. Like before he was afraid of becoming his worst nightmare, and now he just accepts it with a laugh. Like he's just like completely given up on like humanity and just like anything. Like he's just so dark right now.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I can't. It makes you think like, how the hell did he even come back from this? How did he ever become a good person? Yeah.
Redemption is gonna be crazy. That's actually why I cried. That chapter that I was talking about earlier, it was his redemption, and that moved me to tears because it was so powerful. So yeah, there's hope, and there's hope yet. You guys don't feel too sad yet.
I'm so sad.
It'll get better. Things will get better in a few chapters. Hopefully, in the next 2 episodes, it'll get better. But right now, it's definitely the rock bottom right now.
Super rock bottom. Oh my god.
Yeah. Also, it's crazy. You know, he was gone for 2 months recovering his body. Like that's how fucked up his body was. Like it had to be rebuilt for 2 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So they thought he was completely gone. Wow. That's so fuck. 2 months.
And then the fate of the body, the performer.
Yeah.
Where he accidentally like ate the fucking water of his corpse.
Drank that disgusting corpse water.
That was so disgusting. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I keep thinking, I'm like going back through the chapter. I keep like seeing good lines because that scene where he finally leaves the temple and he looks at his reflection for the first time and he sees that his face is smooth with no injury. It's like he can't even have the scars to prove this traumatic fucking, like, like it's like it could all be in his head. Like there's no proof of like his trauma.
Yep.
And it's like he's just completely back to his normal. Like outside he's back to normal, but like inside he's like completely fucked up. So like that, like juxtaposition of like how he feels outside and how he feels inside and how he looks outside is just, that was really strong for me. Like I really love that.
I agree. I agree.
God.
Oh my god.
That was so fucked up. This chapter was, there's just so much. It was a long chapter too, but it was so much.
This is the crowning chapter of the entire series, for sure. This is what makes Heaven Official's blessing, suffering, like all makes sense.
Yeah, because like I think if we didn't know how much Xie Lian hurt, you don't feel as like relief for him. You're not as like rooting for him as strongly as when he finally gets everything he wants in his life, because like he's had nothing, and you have to see that he's had nothing in order to realize that he deserves so much because he's gone through so much.
You just want him to be happy finally.
It's crazy. And it's like comparing this personality to like how humble he is like earlier on in the book. Like he's just happy for like every little tiny thing that he can get, and how like just grateful he is for just being alive. It's crazy. It's crazy.
And now you can see just how short his reign as a god was, and that's why he's so bad at it again.
2 or 3 years.
Barely. Right, because one of the years he's like a god, but then the other 2 years he's completely distracted by the problems in his kingdom,
plague and the drought. And then he like becomes mortal and he's curse shackled. So that's cool.
So of course he was terrible at like returning to heaven. He didn't remember anyone's name. He didn't remember how to do anything because he barely spent any time there.
He also like never did the custom of giving gifts to people and greeting them. So since he never greeted them, he was never introduced properly to all the other gods. So he doesn't know anybody. Yeah,
he doesn't know anyone. It's like of his 800 years alive, one of it was spent properly as a god. Yeah. And so when you start the book again, when you read it for the second time,
definitely reread the book, you guys. After knowing everything that happens, you definitely need to reread the book. It's so good. It's so good.
What's I know.
I like can't get over how sad I feel right now. Like my heart feels like I need to watch a happy movie or a TV show to like reset my brain, because I'm like I feel sad.
I need fluff. I agree. I need some fluff.
I need something happy. Let me go.
Do you have do you have any fluff off topic for us?
Yes, I did. I've been reading some fluffy stuff, but I have to look them up. So it's going to take me a hot second.
Okay. My off topic is not a fic or a story. It is, and unfortunately the people of the podcast won't see this, so you'll just have to check other socials or something. I got Lamonji. It's the good smile figure.
Yes, that's a good one.
So I actually haven't unboxed him, and you guys are going to listen to the ASMR unboxing of my Lamonji. Really adorable Gusu style of figurine. It's so cute, and I'm so happy that now Wei Ying has
his partner. He has his husband.
Yeah,
he has his soulmate.
Yeah. I'm so excited. Okay,
man, so I really can't wait to get into Madao Zushi, because it's literally my favorite. It's my favorite series.
Yay!
It's like my favorite series. It's so good. Oh my god, I don't even know how many fucking times I've watched the live action in the background.
Have you watched the 25 episode series where they like cut it down to just be about Wei Ying and Lamonji? Like
like the
super cut.
No, because I like the entire series and I like all the side characters.
I started watching the super cut. It's great.
I watched everything like from the beginning, all whatever like 60 episodes of it.
I started watching the supercut, and it's great because it just focuses on Lan Wangji and Wei Wuxian. It doesn't.
But the side characters are so good.
I don't care about them. I want to see my boys falling in love and being stupid.
That's like saying you don't
kids.
care about fucking Beef Leaf.
Yeah, I care about Beef Leaf, but I don't care about Jiang Tun, okay?
I care about Zhang Cheng. Oh my god. I really love his relationship with Wei Ying though. Like their relationship is so complicated, especially in the book. That's so different from the TV show.
I agree.
It's so different.
Although it's so cute in the TV show because they'd be talking shit in the background all the time. That's hilarious.
Right. They're just like gossiping together, being
yeah,
and stuff.
It's really funny to watch them gossip.
Yeah, but like I don't know the book is, and also everything with the Yi City arc with Xiao Chen, like that shit, always fucks me up. That was so good.
Oh my god, he's so cute. Oh my god, sweet,
so cute,
sweet man. He has a little bunny on his shoulder. Ah, so cute. A little waving bunny.
I love how the figures and like all the merch always puts like bunny stuff around them because I have just like plushies of bunnies. Figures of bunnies. Just like bunnies everywhere, all over my fucking shrine.
Yes. My shrine is not a shrine yet. It's still kind of just the corner of my desk. So trying its best.
So I'm trying to like find another bookcase because I keep getting more things. And I need to like figure out a way to I don't know, I gotta figure that out.
Oh my god. This tape. I hate tape. I need scissors.
You have a box cutter?
Yeah, I'll get one.
Techigo says, is it on Netflix? It is on Netflix. It's called The Untamed. It's the live-action version of Modao Zushi, Grandmaster Demonic Cultivation. I do love the live-action, but the story is a little bit different, especially with the main bad guy, and like how things go down with the main like the what's it called? The Tiger Stygian seal. It's like the main driving force of the TV show of like everyone wants this powerful weapon in order to like rule the world or whatever. So the way that they portray that aspect of the plot is very different from the live action to how they do the book. And I much prefer the book because it just makes a little bit more sense.
Yes.
But yeah, it's a really good drama. So definitely go check it out. It's a C drama.
It's great.
It's really good, and it's full of really hot people. Like they just cast idols.
Yeah. Also, it skyrocketed.
With limited acting experience, but they did such a good job.
I agree. They definitely had bad acting experience beforehand or no acting experience.
They're literally just like no one idols that they just randomly picked, and then they became famous because of the show.
So famous to the point where Xiao Zhan is now like the most popular person in China.
He's hired for everything.
He cannot leave his house. He was like
his face is everywhere. It's
recently
everywhere.
He just did Milan Fashion Week, and he was just always surrounded by people. It was insane.
He got so popular. It's crazy.
I feel so bad for him. Well, at the same time, I feel good for him. Like I'm glad for him, but it doesn't feel like he's the type of guy to like want to be famous.
No, he's like at least from the interviews, he seems like he's very like kind of like quiet. He's like they're the opposite of their characters. Like he's kind of quiet and like introverted, and he like kind of keeps himself. And then like, his personality as the character is like loud, outspoken, just like hello, I am here. Yeah, and like flirty and like just smiley and bubbly and cheerful all the time. Although the reason why he's so cheerful all the time is like really dark also in the book.
Yeah.
It's
so
it's
good.
such a good series. Oh my god, I love it.
I'm putting together the little figure now. I'm trying to figure out where this like sphere goes. It was kind of.
Did you see the instruction book?
It doesn't. Let me look at the back. It doesn't come with the instruction book.
Because like my figure has the little like instruction book printed on the. Yep.
Okay, so it says, take off the lantern, and then put the ball inside the lantern.
Nice.
And then put the lantern behind him.
Gabby says, I love Zhang Cheng. Me too. He's so misunderstood. I recently have been reading more fanfics with Zhang Cheng and Lan Huan, like coupled together, and they're really good. Oh my god.
I need to read better fics about them.
They're so good.
Oh my gosh. All right, here we go. Here's my off topic. This is the figure. It's so well made. It's so cute. There's moss on the ground.
Yes.
It's like actual moss. It's not plastic.
Nice.
Like, I mean, as in it's not resin.
It's like fake moss. Yes.
It's fake moss. And there's little bunnies and this little like outdoor lantern. It's so cute, you guys. So cute. I'm so happy I have this.
I want one.
Very expensive.
Oh no.
So expensive, but I'm sure you can find it on Taobao for cheaper than what I got it for, because I got it for full price.
I see. Okay.
And it came with an acrylic stand.
Mine. That's crazy because like my Heaven Official Blessing, the big figure that I have comes with like a postcard of the figure and an acrylic of the figure. It comes with all these like bonus items. And I'm like, why don't Japanese figure like merch do this?
Right?
Like, they give you so many bonus items. Like I got a postcard and the acrylic and the figure, and like it came with 3 different backdrops for the figure too.
That's
like, it's
so
crazy.
Amazing. I love that.
Yeah, I was like, this is such a deluxe experience.
Yes.
I was like, I need more. I wish all my figures had this extra stuff.
Amazing. Okay, so tell us about your off topic.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about something fluffy and happy because we know more sad. And this one is super fluff. It's a Morazushi fanfic set in modern universe. And it's one where Wei Ying and Lanjan are roommates. It's called Spoke Like We Meant It by Black Wires on Her Head. And it's an AU where Lanjan has a case of like sleepwalking disease. And so he goes to sleep really early, but like sometimes in the middle of the night, like once a month, maybe once every 2 months, Wei Ying finds him like just doing random shit around their apartment where they live together. And Wei Ying is a really light sleeper, so he hears him every single time. And he's sort of like, his job sort of became like watching out for Lanjan when he's sleepwalking, because there's been times where he's tried to like leave the house or done something dangerous. So Lanjan's brother has like kind of depended on Wei Ying as his roommate to like take care of him. This kind of works out for Wei Ying because he has all these like pent up emotions over Lanjan, because obviously he's like in love with him, but he can't say anything because he's worried that's gonna ruin their friendship if he confesses. So every single time he sees Lanjan sleepwalking, he like confesses. Like he tells him like he talks to him differently. He calls him sweetheart and says like, I love you. I love when you're like this. And he like, you know, just he doesn't do anything inappropriate because he doesn't want to cross that boundary. He doesn't like, you know, touch him inappropriately or do anything inappropriately, but he just like talks to him. And just being able to like talk to him and unleash his like bottled up feelings because kind of helps him live a little bit easier, like as his roommate, because he just has this unrequited love. Well, to him, he thinks it's unrequited.
Yeah.
But so anyways, there's just this like it's basically it's a 5+1 fic, which is if you don't know what a 5+1 is, it's a trope in which the fanfic outlines 5 scenarios of a thing that are very similar, and then 1 scenario of the same thing that turns out a little different. So it's 5+1. So it's 5 times that Lanjan has sleepwalked. 5 times that Wei Ying caught Lanjan sleepwalking, and 1 time that Lanjan wasn't sleepwalking. So throughout the fic, you see this habit of like Wei Ying like confessing his like love and like being super fluffy and like saying all these like wonderful things. He also like uses this time to like, because Wei Ying is like a really complicated character and he has a lot of trauma and like hurt. So he talks to Lanjan about his hurt and about his feelings, and like it's like his best friend, but he's scared to talk to about it in real life, so he talks to him while he's sleeping.
Yeah.
And then the one time he comes home late after having a really rough day, and it's like 2 a.m, and he sees that Lanjan is with the bunnies, like in the living room with his back to him. So Wei Ying thinks like, oh, it's 2 a.m, it's Lanjan sleepwalking. So he immediately hugs him from behind, like says, oh, Lanjan, I'm so happy you're the love of my life. And like says all these like lovely things. And then usually Lanjan replies with like sleepwalking words like, yes, or like whatever. But this time Lanjan is completely silent because of course he's not fucking sleepwalking. He's wide awake and he heard everything that Wei Ying has said to him. So yeah, the rest of the fic is like the fallout from that. But it is so cute. And it's just like the perfect amount of like fluff. It's a little bit sad, but it's like mostly fluffy. And it's like a really great, I totally recommend this if you're feeling down because it definitely picked me up. It's like, it's just so cute. And I love their relationship in this fic so much. It's super wholesome. And even though Wei Ying has like a lot of like, you know, he has like abandonment issues and like, you know, like just a lot of fucked up stuff from his childhood and like his like adopted family. But yeah, it's so cute. It's so great.
That is so cute. Yeah, send it to me because I need fluff right now. My heart be broken.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I put the link in the notes.
Thank you. Oh my God, so cute. All right, so this is now the point of our podcast where we talk about Patreon and we read through your comments from the last few episodes or whatnot.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, please leave comments on our Patreon for the episodes I upload.
We love the comments.
I literally uploaded this week's episode on Patreon like 1 hour late because I was like editing. Well, I was editing up until that time.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
Whoopsies. Okay, so let's see. Since last week, we had so episode 38, bottom show. Kate Payne says, "I wish I could go to SumiCon. It looks so cool. Can't wait to see all the pictures and videos you guys take." And the fanfic that we had put on the bottom show, she says it sounds awesome. I can't wait to read it.
Oh, yay.
And then
I believe that one was the Fentao Laoshi's guide to cut.
Yes, that was so
that was
good.
A good one. It was such a good conversation.
So good.
That was so funny.
I shared my video haul from Osaka, and Izzy says that this is so fun. Kate Payne also like with a smiley emoji. So if you guys haven't seen, I posted the video onto Patreon as a public.
Patreon?
No, it's actually a public video on Patreon, so you guys can just go
look at it. Yeah, you just go sign into the website and look at it. Right?
Yeah, patreon.com/BLHQ podcast.
I forget the podcast.
yeah, the podcast part. And then episode 28, Uncut, Kate Payne says, "We all need a best friend like Feng Xin. Like he should get the title of best boy because he stuck with Xie Lian through everything until Xie Lian sent him away. What if the other reason Hua Cheng didn't dissipate was because he really fucking hated mooching? Revenge fanfic ideas? That's a good, yeah.
I mean, literally, let's keep in mind, as soon as Hua Cheng became a supreme ghost, he immediately went to heaven and rained hell on the 33 gods. That was the first thing that he did. And mooching got away. So he's the one god that got away, and he's just been that's just been their history for 800 years since then.
I mean, he wanted to go after Feng Xin as well, but he doesn't know what happened between Feng Xin and Xie Lian.
No, he just knows that he was abandoned.
Yeah.
By Feng Xin. And also mooching also kicked him out of the army, and he's just had all these negative experiences with mooching from the get-go. So it's not great. It's not great for mooching.
No, so bad. Oh my God. Let's see. And then so also we like to shout out our Sichuan tier.
Yes.
Let me take a look at that.
Thank you to all our top tier patrons for supporting our show. We couldn't do it without you guys.
Yes. So thank you to Kate Payne.
Thank you, Kita.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, FaceBoy23.
And thank you,
I love
George.
saying that name.
I know.
It's so fun to say.
It's so fun to say. I'm glad he's been listening to this podcast too, because he's a sweet young boy who's like, "What's BL?" I'm like, "Listen to the podcast." He's like, "Okay."
You will find out. You will find out, Beach. Yes.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have to find a quote because I didn't underline anything because I was too distressed. There's too many distressing quotes in this. I do like the phrase with the white no face though, where he's trying to teach Xie Lian. That one's pretty good and dark. Let me go find that one.
Okay. If you guys haven't already, please follow us on Twitter, YouTube, and Patreon if you'd like to listen to all of more episodes from us, because that supports us and stuff. So please tweet at us. That'd be great. We want attention from you.
More tweets, yes, or retweet us. Even a retweet or share of the episode is super supportive. It's a great free way to support our show.
And we will be at SumiCon, which is a convention happening in Las Vegas. It's going to be at the end of March, which is only in a few weeks anyway.
A month away.
Yeah, get
almost
tickets.
Exactly a month. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also, we literally brainstormed for an hour for some real good merch.
Yeah. So hopefully the merch comes in time, because this do be short notice.
Oh, yeah,
you usually like to order merch 2 months in advance, but
we only gave them a month. It's fine.
Woo, speed running.
It's fine. But yes, okay. And as White No Face said, you want to save the common people, do you? The common people don't need to be saved by you. They aren't worthy. I surely felt this way reading this episode, because the common people suck.
This totally suck. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
And that's the end of the episode. Wow, that's a long episode. I just looked at the time recorded.
Oh, I told you that chapter is 2 long chapters back to back. That's what it was.
Whoopsie.
So it was just like, yeah.
It's gonna be a
okay,
very
we'll
long episode.
Do a shorter episode next week.
To be honest with you, you and I need to record some double features soon because we're both gonna be gone for so long in Asia.
Yeah. I know. I have to quit my job first, and then I can focus on doing more writing because at this time it's so busy at work that I haven't had time to write at all.
I vibe with you. I understand. My gosh.
Yeah, go Kate. Go read something nice.
Maybe we just need more extra episodes.
Yeah, you can do it. We can just do a bonus episode instead of doing a reading episode. We can record it in Korea.
That'd be nice. I would like that a lot.
Do you want to just do that? Or do you think it'll be okay?
We're not gonna be okay because we were gone for 3 weeks plus.
No, I mean, like, do you think we'll be okay to do one of those 3 weeks episodes in Korea?
Yeah.
Or do you think that's not enough?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Actually, let's just do 2. We can do 2. We can do 2.
2 in Korea, and then 1 we'll do an extra here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we'll try our best. We'll see. We'll try. We'll record as much as we can.
Do what we can. Yes. Okay.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. We will be back next Tuesday again. For the next chapters. It'll be our episode 40, I think.
Yes, it will be. Not including the bonus episodes. Like just doing the Heaven's Official. It's our 40th episode. Because if you count the bonus episodes, it's technically 42.
Yeah. All right, guys. Bye-bye.
Hi, guys.